Hello everybody, welcome back to Conor here, All Leeds TV. Got something a little bit different for you today. I wanted to do this at the start of every month, but I keep missing out. I want to go over our next coming month and what I predict the scores are going to be. Maybe not the scores, but the results based on what form. You know, I've got a few little statistics up here as well. Something that you guys seem to really enjoy when I go through all this sort of stuff like I used to do back in the day. So let's get into it. So, after last night's game, I'm recording this on the Tuesday, Brentford faced off against the QPR side, beat them 3-1. Brentford are coming now, I think, only 4 points off us in particular, and they really are coming, and they are definitely a team to watch as of now. But with regards to Leeds, listen, obviously, the result of the weekend means that we've won 50% of our games. We've won 50%. We've drawn 29% and we've lost 21%, which is it's a good record. It's okay. But we go into this QPR game. QPR 8th in the division. QPR, we've played our last 3 games. They've won 2. We've won 1. A lot of people see the QPR games and they think to themselves, do you know what? Yeah, it's Leeds in the bag, that. And theoretically, it probably should be, but it never is against QPR. It's always a real tough game. Form's very similar. Obviously they've lost 3 in particular. We've lost 2. They've won 2. We've won 2, and we are the expected winners in this game. But this is always a tough game, and it always is a tough game. It's always 1 goal here, 1 goal there. Their top scorer, Naki Wells, joint top scorer with Jordan Hugill, if I can say his name, Jordan Hugill, 7 goals apiece. Now, in the Championship for Leeds, obviously our top scorer is Patrick Bamford on 4 goals, but QPR have started this season really, really well in comparison to previous. You're still expecting them to hit that mid-table finish maybe, but it's ignorance, that, isn't it? Because we've turned around in previous years and probably said Norwich are going to finish mid-table or Villa might finish mid-table, and they haven't done so. So maybe if QPR can keep up this run, obviously they lost last night, but they've had a good start to the season, obviously in 8th position. Probably the most notable win has to be away at Hull for me. I think away at Hull is always going to be a magnificent result. Obviously they've won away at Wednesday as well, so it's going to be a tough nut to crack. They're going to come against Leeds, and it's going to be one of those sort of resolute performances where they've got men behind the ball, and it's notoriously one of those games that we've seen from Leeds in the past. Obviously, we can even see the previous results. 1-0, 2-1, 2-1. It is one of those games where statistically it's always going to be a difficult one for Leeds. So, we struggle to break them down. I've been actually these last 3 games I've all been to, our last 3 QPR games I've been to. And it's always been a difficult game. We've struggled to get into it, and then we've struggled to break them down. And then, we get into the second half and it's a little bit nervy. A few attacks. I remember they had Matt Smith the second to last time we played them at Ellen Road. And he was just causing us all sorts of problems in that final 20 minutes. So it's definitely something Leeds have got to be cautious for. But for this game, I'm actually going to go with a draw. So let's write some of the points down. I'm going to go with a draw. I just think this one, especially with Leeds at this moment in time, it doesn't seem like we're scoring that many goals. And I think this one, QPR, especially in current form, especially, with both the strikers fit and both the strikers going into this game in relatively good form, 7 goals. Well, each of them scored 7 goals. I think it's going to be a tough game for Leeds. So for this one, I'm going to go for a draw. Obviously, Leeds' next game comes up against, we have Blackburn straight after that. Now, Blackburn, another game where Leeds, in recent history, it's always been a bit to and fro with Blackburn. We've lost there last season. We've won at Ellen Road in dramatic fashion, late fashion, where we were lucky that game as well. We sort of started hitting form towards the back end of the game. And listen, I'll read you the last 3 results out, very similar to QPR again. Blackburn 1, Leeds 2, that famous Pontus Jansson winner. Blackburn 2, Leeds 1, Leeds 3, Blackburn 2. So there's always goals, but it's always a tough game. And this Guys, this just shows the lack of goals Leeds are having at this moment in time. The top Blackburn scorer is a midfielder in Bradley Dack with 5 goals. And obviously, as I mentioned before, Patrick Bamford, top scorer for us on 4. But, their form is horrific. It really is horrific. I mean, they've not won in 6. Notable losses against Luton, QPR, Birmingham and Preston. So this is a game Leeds must win. This is a game we have to win, and we have to win the QPR game for me. I mean, it's one of those games where if Leeds have drawn 2 on the bounce, we need to now come back and get a win. You look at your teams that have gone up from previous seasons. Whilst I understand that draws are good, we need to be churning out wins as well in between those draws and try to avoid the losses. Draws wins, but majority wins. I know that sounds really simplistic, but a lot of fans, turning around and saying it's a good point. If we're looking for those top 2 positions, it can't just be that every week. We can't be getting a point against QPR, point against Blackburn, saying the good points. These are games we have to win. So I'm going to go with Leeds to win this game. I think we'll have a little bit too much for Blackburn, especially at home, and the form guide doesn't favour them at all. Now the next one is it's a tricky one. Now this one is Leeds United away at Kenilworth Road at Luton. Now this one for me is going to be the tough one. It's going to be the tough one, and I've actually predicted Leeds to lose this game. It is a game Leeds United will lose. For me, it is just the blueprint of everything. When I've been growing up, Leeds have been is a loss here. Unfortunately, I'm going to be real with you guys. Even the form hasn't really changed as much this season when we play teams like this, physically imposing teams. When Leeds have to travel a lot as well, that's when especially down in the capital, or surrounding the capital, as Luton is. It's a tough game. For me, it's a really tough game. They're physical, a little bit like Millwall in how they play as well. Line up, it's they've got it's difficult because this is a game where all the stats, the expected goals, everything favours Leeds United. Luton are expected to finish in the bottom 3, based on form, based on everything, based on fixtures coming up. They've got. The thing that stands out for me is it's the goal scorers. You've got Harry Conor. They've managed to grab in James Collins, who somehow has already scored more goals than Patrick Bamford. Harry Conor has as well from midfield. Izzy Brown, absolutely on fire for them at the minute, which harks back to last season. A lot of people saying he wouldn't have fit in the system at Leeds United. You can't say that because we didn't give him a try in the system. Obviously in training, clearly he wasn't putting the effort in, but every club he's been at, especially aside from Leeds United, he's done the business. So that's where it is massively frustrating. We're seeing him on fire at this moment in time for Luton. But similar form to Leeds, really. Got a few draws in there, a few wins, notable 3-0 win at home to Bristol City, and recently a win away at Blackburn, which was a big win. So I don't know. I mean, we should be taking them apart. They're 19th in the division. They're a newly promoted team. But I just think it's a small ground. It's an old-style ground, physically imposing team. It just mirrors everything QPR away last season, Millwall away last season, Millwall away this season, Charlton away this season. It just mirrors a loss for me. So I think, so what have we got down? We've got 4 points already. But I think we lose that game. If I'm being completely realistic with you guys, which isn't good enough. But I just think it's going to be a tough ask. So Madejski Stadium's the next one for Leeds United. We play Reading away. Weird one for Reading because they started the season so well. They really did. They started the season, really well. I mean, our head-to-head with them, it's 2-2, then we've beaten them 1-0, then we've beaten them 3-0, obviously, away last season, where we just mauled them, where, once again, Bamford could have had about 8. And, their form's a little bit indifferent as well. Obviously, they've actually managed to beat Preston in the second to last game, drawn away at QPR, which is a good result. So, the last 2 results, not bad results at all. Winning against Preston, who were on fire at this moment in time, and drawing at QPR away. That's 2 good results there. But recent. I mean, they've lost to Fulham. They got battered by Fulham 4-1, which is a big standout. Lost to Bristol City as well. So Listen, they're not expected to finish in the top 6, not expected to finish in the top 10. As really, if you're being, for me, realistic, looking at the Championship, they're probably looking at the bottom 3, really, staying out of that picture if they can for the full season. But once again, they've got some good players, and there's a little bit of a coherent theme here for every team we've looked at so far. They're sort of, without any disrespect, sort of below par teams in this division. The teams that we should be beating, but every single one has got a scorer on level with us or above. And you saw last one, it's James Collins has got 5 goals, defender, and this one, George Puskas. Puskas is obviously their £8 million player who they've had now for a while. He's been a fair few assists, and he's got 3 goals this season, obviously behind Patrick Bamford on 4. But a little bit of a coherent theme here, isn't there? With the amount of chances we create in comparison to Reading, it's not even a conversation. And Luton, and QPR, and Blackburn, Patrick Bamford should be on more goals. I mean, it's not good enough. That 4 goals, it's very, very poor. But for this one, I've gone for a Leeds win. I think we always do okay down at Reading, especially last season. We really did maul them. I still don't think at this moment in time we are the same team as we were last season. I actually think we've weakened, but I think we will get the win down there. And finally, to round off the month, it is Leeds United at home to Middlesbrough. Now, I've just put how many points I think we're going to get there, just on my little table there. We've always struggled, haven't we? We've always struggled against Borough. I mean, the last 3 results, obviously, they're in different eras, and that's what I want you guys to, maintain with this video. A lot of the results, for example, this first result against Borough where we lost 3-0 was in 2018. So I actually think Patrick Bamford scored a hat-trick there, which he did, yep. So we lost 3-0, then it's 0-0, then it's 1-1, and these are the sorts of results we get against Borough, but Borough are it's a horrific vein of form they're in. I mean, obviously they're expected to finish 20th. They're not doing well in the division at this moment in time. They're actually 22nd at this moment in time. And they've not won in the last 6, big losses to, you've lost to West Brom, Birmingham, Sheffield Wednesday. They lost 4-1 at home, which is, it's a batter in that. So once again, it's a game which we should win. But I'll say this again, Britt Sombolonga, 3 goals. I mean, how he's close to Patrick Bamford is just an absolute joke with the amount of chances we create. But, that's a different video. This is, for me, if you're talking about the biggest problem in the next 5 with regards to us not scoring, it's our kryptonite, really, coming up against someone like Borough, because Borough are crap this season. They're awful. Woodgate coming back. But we know what they're going to do. They're strong. Daniel Ayala. Ayala obviously being the one who just consistently causes Leeds problems. But they're full of big lads at the back, and they're not a good football team at all. I've seen them a couple of times this season. They're not a good football team. The likes of Paddy McNair. Obviously, they've got a little bit of talent on the wings in Lewis Wing and stuff like that, and Tavernier, but and obviously Sombolonga up top. But it's a poor. It's a poor. It's not a poor side, but it's a poor vein of form for Borough. And listen, we should be beating Borough, but I just think you look at every game. The last 6: 0-0 against Fulham, 0-0 against Huddersfield, 1-0 loss against West Brom, 2-1 loss, 1-1 against Preston. They've had some tough games here. Actually, the last 6 have been horrific games. On Wednesday, a little bit of an outlier, a 4-1 loss, but as I've said, they are our kryptonite. They can defend. They can defend quite well. You look at the amount of goals conceded. Aside from Wednesday, it's not been that many. It's not been that many at all. How many have they got? 2, 3, 4. 4 conceded. I mean, we've conceded more than that in our last 6. So Borough are still defending resolutely. They're not doing well. The problem is they're not scoring, but neither are we. So I think this is going to finish a score draw, if I'm brutally honest with you guys. Listen, all these predictions are based on what we're currently doing. We're going to have players coming back. We're going to have players coming in and out of form. But based on this form currently, based on Leeds United right now, I'm going to go with a draw in that game. And that takes our overall points out of 15 for me 8 points, which, is all right. It's here and there. Let me just... Excuse me. Let me just go through our last 6 games, or our last month, and just let you guys know, how many points we've got out of our last 6, our last 5 really, in October. So we've got 3 points there, no points there, 3 there, 6, 7. So it's replicating the exact same form. So we've got 8 points in October. I'm pretty certain that we're going to get 8 points in November with those fixtures. A lot of people saying we've had really difficult fixtures in October. I would agree with that, but if you want to go up in this division, you should be winning more of those games. Millwall away, there's no excuse. We can't just turn around all the time. I'm sick of turning around and just saying, well, it's Millwall, we'll lose that game. It's not good enough. We've got to be winning down there if we want to go up. We need to show a little bit of a different mentality. I'm sick of going down to Millwall and losing. That's not on, and that is why I base my Luton prediction. That is why I base my Charlton prediction. We seem to have some affliction with the capital. We can't win down there, and that is why, you base a lot of your predictions on the current form, because not much is changing. Leeds aren't scoring. We're not letting that many in. I don't think we're going to lose heavily against Luton. I don't, but I think we'll lose the game because it's all about a mentality issue. Can we go down there, physically imposing team, small ground, crowd's going to get on top of us. It's never been a good area for Leeds United. So I think on current form, we do the same thing again. As I said, Millwall's not good enough. Charlton doing okay at the minute. But that result, they didn't have Lyle Taylor doing very well at the minute, Charlton. But for me, that's a game we had to win. We lost that game. Preston, I can understand. Yeah, fair enough. And Sheffield Wednesday, I can understand to an extent. So, listen, it's been an okay month for Leeds, but it needs to be better. And this month, I hope I'm wrong, but that is the amount of point tally I think we're going to get. 8 points out of 15. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. How many points do you think we're going to get? Do you think out of the next 5 games, the next month of November, we're going to get more than that? Do you think we're going to get less than that? Let me know in the comment section below. Do you think there's going to be a sudden upturn in our form? Obviously, there's been no indication of Pablo returning, Forshaw returning. Is that going to impact us massively? Where's the creativity going to come from? Is he going to start Eddie? Is he going to start Roberts? Is it going to carry on how it is? Because at this moment in time, it's evidently not working. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'll see you in a bit.